And we're just 14 days away from Christmas, as Chastity just informed me, and the weather is getting cold outside, but it is still a beautiful day, but it's going to be down to 29 degrees tonight, so it's going to kind of feel like Christmas tonight, folks. We got a great show in store for you. Derek Dooley, candidate for U.S. Senate, will be joining us shortly. Amory Hardin, Oconee County Commissioner, and Keith Glass, former Chief of Police in Monroe, and Bill Phillips, who is the commander of the VFW here in Monroe, will be on with us as well. So, panic is setting in a little bit within the Republican Party. We're on the heels of a stunning defeat just not even 48 hours ago in House 21, where the Democrats took that seat from Republicans. And there's a little bit of a frenzy right now. I think there's a lot of, like I said, panic is setting in. And I got to remind people, just let's get back to the basics of our conversations of what separates Republicans from Democrats. And this isn't just a local issue. This is a national issue. And these topics that I've isolated, I think, go across the entire nation. Republicans were advocates for closed borders. We want immigration, but we want it done correctly. We want people to come here, but we want them to go through the proper processes. Democrats are for open borders. It's simple as that. You can't argue this. This is factual. We saw it under Biden's administration, the 4 years, the mass influx of illegal aliens that came across the southern border. Republicans want to deport criminal illegal aliens. It's real simple. If you came here illegally and you are a hardened criminal, we want you gone. And they're working overtime to get this done. They have deported tens of thousands illegal aliens who are criminals. Democrats want to give safe harbor to them. They don't want to just give safe harbor to them. They want to give them shelter. They want to give them food stamps, all on your tax dollars. This is factual. This is not up for debate. We want to kill terrorists who are importing drugs into our country that are killing tens of thousands of our citizens every year. Democrats want to protect them. They claim human rights. They're more concerned about two terrorists floating in the ocean trying to ship drugs to our nations or other nations than they are the tens of thousands of U.S. citizens getting killed every year because of those drugs. Think about that. This is factual. This is not up for debate. We want to protect children from pedophiles and disgusting materials. They want to expose children to homosexual and transgender ideology. They want to give them books that promote this. This is factual. It's not up for debate. And we want to expand capitalism. We know this is why our country is so great, amongst many things. We are a capitalist nation. It works. It's successful. Democrats want to advance socialism. They want to take it a step further. Many of them advocate for communism. They have Marxist ideology. This is factual. None of this is up for debate. You want proof? Well, just go next door to North Carolina, where state lawmakers, Republicans, are having to challenge the Chapel Hill, Carrboro City school officials over, once again, their violation of the state's Parents' Bill of Rights. So they passed Senate Bill 49 in August of 2023 that prohibits instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity from, get this, Chastity, from kindergarten through fourth grade. So all we're asking the Democrats to do is just keep your hands off our kids.
Sure. Up
until fourth grade. But they can't. They can't do it. It's too much.
It's insane.
The books that they're promoting and they got called out on, let me tell you the titles of these books that they had to identify. I guess there's a source that they're linking and suggesting this reading materials for these, they call it elementary resources. One of the books is called Santa's Husband. Yeah, wow. Insinuating that Santa's gay. Even Santa's not off limits. It isn't rude to be nude. The next one is These Are My Eyes, This Is My Nose, This Is My Vulva, and These Are My Toes.
Wow.
And the last one, I think that was the last one that I had listed here. But, and this, my head's spinning a little bit because I go in a couple different directions with this. First off, who are the creeps writing these books? These are children's books, Chastity.
Right.
These are not books for adults. These are children's books. So who is the pervert writing these books or authoring these books? And then secondly, the school system there just can't keep their hands off it. They want to give this, they want to be sure that kindergartners have access to this type of crap.
I mean,
So
sad.
the things that I just listed, the items that I just went through, these are factual items. They're not up for debate. And Republicans just got to get back to the talking points. And they have to engage and remind voters that this is the party, the Democratic Party, this is what they stand for. These are the items that they want to go to bat for.
Just insanity.
It is insanity. It is insanity. And then, they caught AOC. Let's see, where's she? Yeah, so the Federal Election Commission shows that Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's AOC up in New York, spent nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico on luxury hotels, upscale meals, event cost between June and September. So just a couple months, they spent $50,000 traveling abroad or traveling to Puerto Rico. And of course, her campaign manager is saying, hey, this is all part of, what we have to do. We got to get out there and visit with our constituents. But to me, it's another example of AOC. She is the poster child for socialism, right? She's the advocate. But typically, what you see with those that advocate for socialism and communism, they never want to adhere to their own principles and guidelines. They want their subjects to. They want their voters to. They want their voters to use mass transportation and live in government housing or live in small housing and live humbly. But they themselves do not do that.
Exactly.
That's, God forbid, that's not for them.
They like expensive ice cream
They
too.
they like expensive dresses and expensive ice cream.
Yeah.
That's right, Chastity. They do. They like the luxury high-end ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
But they're advocating for socialism and communism.
Absolutely.
Just bizarre. And I guess the most shocking thing to me is that the voters, they cannot differentiate. The voters that vote for these people cannot differentiate. They can't sniff out the lies and the BS. Right here in town, not far from us, southwest of us, one of our Georgia Democratic reps, he's a Democrat that represents, I guess, it's portions of DeKalb and maybe Henry County. I've never really looked closely at his district, but it's southwest of us. Hank Johnson said on a podcast that the United States, under President Trump's leadership, has become the great Satan. And this was based upon the fact that he thinks the direction that the administration is going is evil. And of course, he referenced the Caribbean drug trafficking program that Trump has pretty much put down on shutdown mode.
Yes.
Saying that this is, this is terrible what we're doing. Shocking to the conscience, he calls it. The fact that we're killing some narco terrorists. What's shocking to the conscience is that right in his backyard, his constituents are dying of these drugs coming into our country.
Yes.
There's where your fight is, Hank Johnson. Put your effort into that battle. Not the criminals that are trafficking this into our country. And don't forget, this is a guy that thought that Guam would tip over if they put too much infrastructure and too many people on one side of the island. And you can't make that stuff up. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Hey, on a lighter note, Chastity, the Powerball jackpot's up to $1 billion.
Wow.
Didn't it seem like it was just up to $1 billion a few weeks ago when we were talking about it?
Yep.
Somebody won it. I think it was somebody from Georgia.
Okay.
Won it. Nobody
Not
that I
us.
knew. Yeah, no, I didn't get that phone call, but it's back up to $1 billion.
Wow.
Which means if you take the cash option after taxes, it's $266 million that you walk away with.
That's nice.
You could do some damage with $266 million.
Absolutely.
Think about the good that you can do, Chastity.
Oh, I would give so much of it away.
I know you
I
would.
would.
I know the first thing you do is you would build that park that that you've been advocating for.
Yes, all around.
Tell our listeners a little bit about the park. That's how I met you about 4 years ago. As you came, you spoke to the Rotary Club in Monroe, and you had a vision for a park for children with disabilities. Tell people about that.
Thank you. So it's a nonprofit here locally, Hands of Hope Walton, and we work with the community, and we work with the schools, and we work with the families, and we just want to make Walton County more accessible for everyone. And so we thought of the best place to start would be our playgrounds. So we are working to bring Walton County's first all-inclusive playground. So no matter what the child's abilities are, they will be able to play, grow, and learn together.
That's
And
great.
we are working very close on a new project right here in Monroe to bring this project to life. So just keep us in your thoughts and prayers, and if anyone's interested, just go visit our website, handsofhopewalton.org.
And you've been working on this for some time, Chastity.
Yep, we've had boots on the ground,
Yeah.
just sharing with the community, and our community's so wonderful. So anytime it's got anything to do with our children, it's just 100% support. So
Well, and so I'm telling our listeners, if anybody wins that $1 billion,
Yeah.
think of Chastity.
please
Throw a couple
Yes.
bucks her way so she can finish
I
this
would love
project.
that.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Thank
And
you, Mark.
One more little note before we get to our first guest. This is a story I read from overseas out in Denmark where an anonymous sperm donor who has, what is the word they use? He has sired over 200 kids by his donations. And it turns out, they do a really thorough check of your genealogy and your health to be sure that you are not somebody that's going to be propagating, poor health standards.
Okay.
Well, it turns out that this guy, even though he had gone through all these tests, had a flaw in his DNA. And that flaw has led to up to 20% of his sperm contained a harmful TP53 mutation, meaning children conceived from those affected sperm would inherit the mutation, making them more likely to get cancer in their lifetime.
Wow.
And so they've identified some of these kids that were, part of this group. And already some of those kids, I think about 10% of them, they've identified that they have this mutation. And this is heartbreaking. Already 10 of them have already contracted cancer.
Oh.
And so what I take from this, the reason this story was of interest to me is I understand the whole concept of sperm donation and what goes on with people that are not able to have babies and they have to go through this process. But I think there's a danger in that they let one guy,
Sure.
be
control the
yeah,
whole-
his product, let's call it, is distributed and used 200 times. I don't think that's safe because this is an example of, and this is a horrible situation because imagine now if you're a parent of one of these children and you're biting your fingernails thinking, does my kid, are they gonna have to face childhood cancer or cancer at some point in their life? Some of them already are. It's a bizarre story, and I think they need to start exploring putting limits as to how many they can actually sire. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, candidate for U.S. Senate, Derek Dooley.
Here's Evan Youngblood for Youngblood Tractor in Madison.
Did you know Youngblood Tractor is much more than just tractors? Sure, we have the biggest selection of Massey Ferguson tractors around and all the attachments you could ever need. But did you know we also carry the Kawasaki side-by-side lineup like the legendary Kawasaki Mule, Terex, and Ridge? That's Kawasaki's new cab model with heat and AC. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete Spartan zero-turn mower lineup from residential to commercial zero-turn mowers. Combine that with our massive trailer inventory of equipment, dump, enclosed, and utility trailers, you can always build a winning combination at Youngblood Tractor right here in Madison. We also feature a full parts and service department to help maintain your equipment for years to come. Whether you're a full-time farmer, hunter, or property owner looking to maintain your land, Youngblood Tractor is here to make your next outdoor project a success. Call us today at 706-342-2242 or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison or shop us 24 hours a day at youngbloodtractor.com.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what what's new.
Your family and friends will love the Christmas gifts from Stripling's General Store. See their huge selection of holiday gift boxes with smoked sausage, country cured ham, beef jerky, jellies, old-fashioned hoop cheese, barbecue sauce, and more. Choose a pre-made box, or you can put together a box that fits your needs and budget. Jimmy Cap, his family and staff wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stripling's General Store, Highway 78 East and Highway 53 in Bogart.
Hey, this is Doug.
And this is Robbie.
We own and operate Foy Tree Service.
When you need tree cutting, stump grinding, lot clearing, mulching, firewood, and more, call Foy Tree Service.
Serving Morgan County and surrounding area since 1987.
With top quality service and fair prices, we take pride in our work, and we do everything to make sure that you are a happy customer.
That's Foy Tree Service. Call us at 706-342-8733.
That's 706-342-TREE.
Anytime is a great time to make memories at the Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary in Lilburn. Close to home and fun for the entire family. Not only will you see wildlife up close, like bears, otters, bison, and more, you can enjoy a picnic lunch. There's gem mining and so much more. The Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary, 4525 Highway 78 in Lilburn. Make plans to visit soon. To learn more, go to yellowriverwildlifesanctuary.com.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Currently in Georgia, we have a radical leftist, Democrat Senator John Ossoff, who needs to be challenged and removed in this next election. And our guest right now, Derek Dooley, is running for U.S. Senate. Derek, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Hey, Mark, thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. I've had the pleasure of meeting your wonderful mom. She actually did an interview with us about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she won Interview of the Year award. She's hilarious, and she's informative, and just an absolute jewel. And so I know you're a proud son of Miss Barbara Dooley.
Well, my only regret, Mark, is that you didn't have me on before her, because she sets the bar so high. There's no way I could meet the expectation. But yeah, she's always had a tremendous personality. It was a lot of fun growing up with a mother like that. She has the philosophy of speak first, think second, which was the exact opposite of my father's philosophy. But she always brings humor into a situation,
yes.
Never took herself too seriously, and just taught us a lot of lessons for our family as well.
Well, we hope to have her back at some time in the near future. And Derek, I never got the chance to meet your father. What was it like growing up in your household? What influences did your dad have upon you? I can only imagine he was regiment, that he was disciplined, and he had a game plan every day, that not just for college football, but for how he approached life.
Well, you're right about that, Mark. And you look at his history. He's a former Marine, and he was always a very serious-minded coach. And as a father, when you're growing up, you don't really know any different. You don't know you're in some unique environment. But most of his lessons were really taught to me by watching him, and the level of leadership that he demonstrated just throughout my life, and the level of service he had to this state. He was somebody that always, had an incredible amount of self-discipline. He had a tremendous amount of respect for everybody he encountered. And he had a lot of moral courage as a leader to do what's right.
Sure.
There were a lot of turbulent times in Georgia's athletic history, and he was able to survive there 40 years. And it takes the right kind of leadership qualities, and it certainly made a big impact on me. And watching him my whole life probably made a big impact on me in quitting my legal career as a lawyer and going into a 3-decade career as a football coach.
Yeah, and when did that take place? So, you grew up in this family, your dad, and I love how you put that, you guys didn't realize what was going on because you're living in that every day, but to grow up in that family, and to have your father figure who he was, at what point did you say, man, I want to do this too? I want to coach? Because that is a very rewarding, it's a demanding career, but it's also a very rewarding career.
Well, it's funny because for some reason, and it was probably because my mother had brainwashed me to not go into coaching because of the toll it took on a family. It certainly is tough. And so as I was coming through college, I always kind of told myself I wasn't going to coach. I had no interest in coaching. And I went on to law school at the University of Georgia and started a career practicing law. But after about a year, it really started hitting me that maybe billing hours wasn't in the plans for me in life.
Sure, yeah.
I wanted to be able to make an impact in a different way. I had missed a lot of the things that I love so much about college football as it relates to just, hard work, shared sacrifice, teamwork. And so I just literally quit my job and started all the way at the bottom as a GA. My first job was in Athens, Georgia, between the hedges, and I was a GA in the secondary, and there was this young safety named Kirby Smart and a quarterback named Mike Bobo on the team.
Yeah,
and
think of that.
Then the rest is history.
Wow. I love it. So you have a fantastic coaching career. What was the moment that you decided, hey, I want to get into politics? Because you kind of walked right past the kiddie pool and you jumped into the deep end with the U.S. Senate race. And as I preface this conversation, we have to remove John Ossoff, right? And you come into this race. Governor Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp are they're the best governors and first ladies in our nation, right? I'm a huge fan of our governor. I think he's been fantastic for the state of Georgia. You enter this race with their endorsement. What does that mean for you?
Well, it means a lot, and it certainly didn't come overnight. I mean, I had to earn that, just like anything else in this world you need to do. But it really started for me, Mark. I was had a 28-year career. I was immersed in the job. Loved the impact we were making on young people. It didn't matter what walk of life. But after COVID, during the last administration, me, like millions of others around the country, I got jarred a little bit. I felt like our country was trying to get driven off a cliff. I started seeing things I thought I would never see. And at the same time, I was just really disappointed in how our politics had digressed up in Washington, D.C., where whether it was careerism or some corruption or total inaction, but we've digressed away from serving the people and more towards serving our own political career. And so just like I felt that pull 28 years earlier when I was practicing law, I started just feeling like, maybe it's time to do something different. I felt like I could make a bigger impact on our country and getting it back. And leadership matters, and I was frustrated with leadership at every level. And so I just quit my job, just like I did 28 years earlier. And when the governor announced he wasn't going to run for Senate, that was the light bulb that came on for me, that this was a way to make an impact. This is a way to go serve the people of Georgia in the same way my father served for so many years, and began the process of, one, getting my arms around what it entailed, Mark, because this is big. I wanted to make sure I understood exactly what I was jumping into.
Sure, yeah.
But then, just as importantly, making sure that I felt like I had a chance to win.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to just announce I was running for Senate and, couldn't even get out of the gate. And I've been out on the road for 5 months now, and every week I've just gotten more and more confident that we are in the right lane, that the people of Georgia feel in many ways how I feel, and we're going to be the answer to get this seat back to the people of Georgia.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Derek Dooley. He's a candidate for United States Senate to replace John Ossoff. Derek, it's interesting because, yes, I agree. I think there's a huge appetite for outsiders. I think, and there's proof of concept that outsiders have been extremely successful. You look at President Trump and you look at other people that have entered politics as a second phase of their life, and they have gotten things done. I found it interesting with your coaching career. Do you think, because coaching is all about teamwork, getting people to all row in the same direction, do you think that skill set could benefit you in the United States Senate when sometimes Republicans are going different directions in different ways, and we need them to have, we need them singing from the same hymnal, if you will?
Yeah, just a couple of things on that. And first off, the outsider piece, it is, I think people want something different. They want to change. But the candidate also matters. Not just being an outsider is going to get you elected. But you mentioned my 28 years in coaching, and I wore a lot of hats. I was a head coach at 2 different places. I was an athletic director. And so, but when you're putting together a team, you have a lot of people that have a lot of differing opinions. They come from all different walks of life. And your job as the leader is to listen to them all and to try to find some unity, some common ground, and deliver results. And I came from a world that results mattered. And if you didn't get results, you weren't going to be there for long. And I've experienced both ends of it. And I think we need more of that approach in Congress and the United States Senate, where people are more focused on delivering results and moving the ball forward for our people in our country than they are trying to hold on to a long political career. And so, you look at President Trump as an outsider, you referenced him.
Yep.
I mean, in the first 6 months he got there, he delivered more results than any other president in my lifetime.
Yep.
And a lot of it is because he didn't accept business as usual in D.C. People go up there and they say, this is how we do it in D.C. And they do that, and that's kind of self-preservation. But it's not necessarily the right way to do it to deliver results for the people. And that's why we need more people who think differently.
Marc McMain, our guest, is Derek Dooley. He's candidate for U.S. Senate. What issue do you feel is most important? So if you're elected, if you oust us off, where do you go? Is there an initiative that you want to put front and center? What's important to you?
Well, I'm going to put it in 2 buckets, Mark. Mm-hmm. Okay, bucket 1 is one of the things that's motivating me running, which is my frustration with Washington, D.C. And it's time we start doing some things to end the business as usual, whether it's the careerism where people are up there too long, talking term limits, whether it's some of the corruption you see in our stock trading that's going on, or whether it's just simple inaction with these government shutdowns. I think there's a lot of reforms we can do, and I'm going to be laser focused on it. I've already written an op-ed on it. So that's one area. But the most important area is what everybody's talking about right now. And, that's their affordability cost of living issue. Yeah. And there's a lot of pieces to this. As a coach, and certainly as I've driven around the state for 5 months, what I found is most people want the same things. They want to feel safe. They want to be able to have their kids get an education and develop skills so that they can have a good job that allows them to afford a home and raise a family. And so it's not that complex on what people really want. I think Congress just loses sight and they get distracted on the things that matter most. And so that's going to be at the forefront of mind, getting this affordability issue under wraps, but also sort of creating a whole new workforce that's better tailored to all the change that's happening in our economy. And I've been in the business of young people for 30 years, and I think our greatest resource in this country is our people, and that's where we need to put the most attention.
Excellent. Love it. I think that's fantastic. You know how many times in this interview I wanted to address you as coach, so if I call you coach...
No, you can call me coach, yeah.
Well,
but, listen, I've been called everything in the book, so I'll respond to whatever you want to call me.
Well, but coach is a great title. It's a great title. Finally, Coach, I know you have a hard stop at 12:30. If listeners want to learn more about you, if they want to get involved in your campaign or support you in some form or fashion, how do they find out more?
It's dooleyforgeorgia.com is our website, Mark. I appreciate you saying that. And, of course, everybody asks, how can I help? Well, the 2 things I learned pretty quickly is you need votes and you need some money. You need some financial resources that help you get the message out. And, listen, every dollar counts. You can go hit donate. It'd be a great Christmas present to the campaign. And I just look forward to when football season's over and we start that campaign season. There'll be a lot of excitement leading into the Senate race.
Coach, I appreciate you joining us today, and please give your mom a big hug for us.
I'll do it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And thank you for having the family on.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Our pleasure. Our pleasure. That was Derek Dooley, candidate for U.S. Senate. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Oconee County Commissioner Amory Hardin.
One of the fun parts of Christmas is the dazzling light displays. Some are tasteful and elegant. Others are a little over the top. Whether gaudy or gorgeous, it's hard to imagine Christmas without lights. Yet very few realize why light is so important at Christmas. Man is naturally drawn to spiritual darkness. The Bible says light has come into the world, but people love darkness instead of the light. Here's the hard truth. The light of Jesus exposes the sin in my heart and yours. Fearing that exposure, we reject him and choose to remain in the dark. Bad mistake. His light keeps us from stumbling through the darkness. Christmas is the annual birthday celebration of Jesus, the light of the world, who came to dispel the darkness. Christmas lights are a reminder of Jesus, who overcame the spiritual darkness of this world. This is Bryant Wright, wishing you a Merry Christmas, speaking right from my heart.
For devotions, visit rightfromtheheart.org.
Leadfoot Mulching and Grading offers land clearing, hauling of gravel and sand, and more. And now offering screen topsoil for the farmer or homeowner, asphalt paving, and more. No job is too big or small. Locally owned and operated, it's Leadfoot Mulching and Grading, serving all of North Georgia. Fair prices and great customer service. Phone 404-909-5227 or go to leadfootmulching.com.
Madison Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
Welcome back, Marc McMain Show. Our next guest is Oconee County Commissioner Amory Hardin. Amory, thank you for joining us, sir.
Glad to be with you, Mark.
I know you have been busy. You've been traveling, taking care of family, and so I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend a few minutes with us and our listeners.
Sure.
So let's start at the beginning. Before we get into some of the nuts and bolts on the county commission, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and your upbringing.
Well, thank you, Mark. I was born and raised in Watkinsville and grew up there right there on South Main Street. So I had a pretty uneventful childhood until I turned 13, and my parents decided they needed to send me off to school. So I ended up at an independent school in College Park, Georgia.
Wow. Okay.
So, I ended up in high school living in a dormitory, and after that I came back home and was fortunate enough to be entered into the University of Georgia. So I've been in Watkinsville ever since.
You're Oconee County native, yeah. Wait, so going to school like that, was that a little bit of a shock to the system at 13 years old? How did you receive that?
Well, at 13, at the time, I didn't have a say in it, Mark. That was back in the days where kids didn't have a say.
You didn't have an option, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was quite a culture shock because I was living in a dormitory with kids my same age that came from practically all over the world. I had new friends from South America, Venezuela in particular, all over the state, and it was quite an experience. Living in a dormitory and being away from home. I bet, yeah. I'm just trying to relate that to myself at 13 years old. You're right. That would have been something to get over. It's interesting because so much has changed, Amory, in the past just few decades as it relates to kids. And I don't know, I think about my children who are now grown, they're in their 20s. My path is different than my children's path, and I'm sure it's the same for you. You think about the things that you experienced as a kid. We've made it easier for our children, and I think that's good in some capacities, but also I think that's, it leaves some voids in other capacities. Well, Mark, you're right. It's different times. I was reminiscing with somebody about my years in College Park. we used to catch the bus. At the age of 13, we'd get a pass to go off campus. We'd catch a city bus and go downtown Atlanta and just wander around.
At 13 years old, think of that, yeah. Right.
And nobody bothered us, and we weren't bothering anybody else. But today, good gracious, I don't even sit in my house unless I know all the doors are locked. So it's quite a different time.
That's what I was going to say is a lot of parents won't let their kids go in their backyards without vigilance now. So it is a different time. And so, very interesting. So before you got into the political side, I know you had a long career in the financial services. Tell us about that.
Well, I did have one stop off before I went to work for the local bank there in Watkinsville. As I say, when opportunity knocks, you need to answer the door. Well, when I was 20 years old, the current mayor of Watkinsville was going to step down. He was 80 years old. And somebody had the bright idea, well, why don't we ask Amory? And, of course, being 21 years old, I wasn't all that smart. I accepted that challenge. So, and believe it or not, Mark, nobody ran against me, and I served as the mayor of Watkinsville for 3 terms.
At 21 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, so it's quite an interesting beginning of my career, but as I was finishing up the University of Georgia, I began work at the Oconee State Bank as a part-time teller. And so at the time that I graduated, there wasn't a lot of jobs, so I was fortunate enough to be able to start my banking career there in 1972, and or actually 73, and served with Oconee State Bank for 43 years.
Wow,
and,
what a career.
But, yeah, so it was great to be able to grow up and work, have your career in your own hometown. So that gave me a special appreciation for not having to move off.
Mayor at 21 and with a bank for 43 years, I think the boarding school at 13 years old paid off, Amory. I think your parents had a good vision for you, so it set a good foundation. What was Watkinsville like when you were mayor?
Well, of course, there was probably maybe a couple, population was less than 1,000. Our total annual budget was around 100,000. I remember the average water bill was $3.25 a month.
Think of that. Wow.
So we think about that. But it was, of course, with the University of Georgia, everybody knew where Watkinsville was because everybody went through Watkinsville to get to Athens.
Right.
And so we had, issues, around football seasons, with added traffic. But otherwise, it was very quiet and just normal day-to-day issues that popped up. Your trash didn't get picked up. I got a pothole or the dog's barking.
That was the biggest gripe you got as mayor was, hey, my neighbor's dog is yapping too much.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a simpler time back then, Amory. Much simpler time. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Amory Hardin. He is the commissioner, one of the commissioners of Oconee County. Amory, so your background in the financial industries, how do you think that has prepared you now? Because Watkinsville and Oconee County is no longer a sleepy town. This is a bustling area that people want to be a part of. It is a very successful area. Obviously, the groundwork that you guys have laid and those before y'all in preparing Oconee County and preparing Watkinsville had tremendous vision. This is, you're the destination of a lot of families, right, that want to come there, whether it be for the schools, whether it be for the fantastic law enforcement, or just the great leadership. How do you think that your skill set, the 40-plus years in the financial industry, has prepared you to be a commissioner?
Well, not only that, working at the bank, Mark, it also afforded me to be involved in the community. I had the opportunity to serve on different community boards, and also some different, what I call quasi-government boards. And so I was able to serve on some committees that involved the region, not just Oconee County, but the 10-county region of Northeast Georgia. So I had an appreciation or exposure to what was going on in other communities. Also got involved with workforce development, served a term on the State Workforce Development Board, so I got a good exposure to what was going on across the state as it pertained to workforce development, and this is back in the Sonny Perdue days. So not only my background and working at the bank, but being exposed to so many different segments of our population and efforts, I felt gave me a good, solid background and a good base to serve as a county commissioner for Oconee County.
Well, you mentioned something very interesting. You talked about your exposure to other counties in the surrounding area. Did you ever find yourself coming back to your team and saying, hey, look, I'm going to tell you something we see going on in Gwinnett that we do not want here in Oconee County? Were you able to identify maybe some red flags and y'all were able to put things in place to prevent unsavory type growth or unsavory developments that would make Oconee less attractive?
Well, Mark, I wish I could take credit for that, but I really give credit to some people that came before me. One of the things that there's two things that makes our community different in some respects is that in the mid-'60s, we implemented zoning and had, subdivision regulations. This was in the mid-'60s. And so we got out ahead of the growth that took place in later decades. And I attribute that to the citizens at that time. The other thing that's been a remarkable economic engine for our community has been our schools. We have enjoyed a good reputation for many decades. And so I think those two key components, land use and also our schools. And being exposed to other communities, yes, I won't mention those communities because maybe some of your listeners live in those communities, but I did observe things that, hey, we don't want that going on here in our community.
No, that makes sense. And it's, sometimes hindsight is 20/20 for some of these areas, and things went a little bit too fast, but there's no doubt I think Oconee County is blessed to have the leadership, like you said, before you and currently what you guys are doing. One more question before we take our first break, going back to your financial industry service. Are there any accomplishments that you had that you're most proud of in that 40 some odd years with Oconee State Bank that you just want to share with the listeners?
Well, I think, Mark, I would say it was surviving the Great Recession. As you know, during that
times.
period of 2006, 7, 8, 9, there was a lot of community banks that were not surviving. And due to the fact that we had a great team, a great board of directors, and loyal customers too, that stuck with us. And so as some of my colleagues across the state were not having the same success we were able to survive. And I hate to use a negative situation like the recession because a lot of people lost their jobs, lost their livelihoods. But our focus then was to open those doors every morning and be there for our customers. So I would say that was probably the number one thing that resonates with me as an accomplishment is that we survived the Great Recession.
Well, community banks are such a crucial part to small areas, and you're right. In that time, if banks were not being consumed by the larger institutions, many of them were shutting their doors. It was very, very difficult times. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, more with Oconee County Commissioner Amory Hardin.
Folks, are you tired of the hustle and bustle of the malls? Remember as a kid when you would go to the store with your grandparents and pick out your favorite candy? Come to Patrick's in Covington for an old-fashioned Christmas that will take you back to those times. They have the largest selection of old-time candy in the area. Favorites include orange slices, pralines, coconut macaroons, chocolate-covered peanuts, and peanut clusters. Patrick's also has fresh whole shelled pecans as well as glazed, bourbon, cinnamon, roasted, salted, chocolate-covered, and other flavors. If you want a gift you know your family will love, choose from their fresh fruit basket or a gift basket of home-style preserves, chow-chow, candy, and other goodies. Don't see exactly what you want? Gather up the goodies you'd like from the large selection of candies, preserves, and pecans, and they'll make a custom gift. just for you. Whether you want to relive these happy childhood memories or make new ones with your children and grandchildren, go to Patrick's for a Christmas that will take you back in time. Start your own family tradition at Patrick's, located on the Bypass in Covington, 770-786-3220.
It's lunchtime, and you want some good old home cooking? Then check out Up and Smoke Catering and Cafe, featuring comfort food like country fried steak, pork chops, chopped steak, pot roast, side dishes like mashed potatoes, butter peas, desserts, and more. Open Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Catering available for all events. 116 Main Street in Jersey. Call 770-742-6483 or go to upandsmokecatering.co.
Lake Life is the Lake area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
Make plans to attend the City of Madison Christmas Parade on December the 13th. Parade starts at 4 p.m. You may enter to be in the parade by filling out a form online and emailing it to chall@madisongeorgia.com or drop it off. It's free to enter. The holiday parade is from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., followed by caroling from 5 to 7 by candlelight. There's a Santa tent and the mistletoes in concert. Mayor's tree lighting and MCH Coors caroling. Free to the public. Check the website.
Serving Loganville and the surrounding area for over 25 years, it's the Main Street Barbershop, 305 Main Street next to Braxton's Auction in downtown Loganville, offering old-fashioned service and modern-day styles. Appointments available and walk-ins welcome. Open Tuesday through Saturday with a friendly staff and atmosphere. That's Main Street Barbershop in downtown Loganville. Call 770-554-3300 or go to mainstreetbarberloganville.com to learn more.
Welcome back. Marc McMain, our guest, is Amory Hardin. He is Oconee County Commissioner. Commissioner, let me ask you, so you were in public service at 21 years old, mayor of Watkinsville, then you go and enter the private sector for 4+ decades. What was the motivation to go back into public service and run for Oconee County Commissioner?
I guess, Mark, it you know, as we say, it started at an early age. I guess my public life actually started before 21, working at a local gas station. I got to work with the public, and I just found, my roots was service-based, and I guess it just kind of, my DNA was have a kind of a servient attitude about things, and I wanted to serve the community. And so after 43 years, I felt like I had a good background to be able to offer to the citizens of Oconee County. So after approximately a year or so after retirement, I decided that I'd give my offer myself to the citizens of Oconee County in that role as a commissioner.
You were sitting around the house, you were bored, looking for things to do, and then you're like, hey, I'm going to fill some spare time and become a commissioner. But I love that because I think you think about the skill set you bring to the table, Amory, with your background. That type of skill set is not just welcome, it's needed on these commissions.
Well, and that's right. And my theme when I ran initially, I was a special election. It was an unfortunate situation. A commissioner at that time, Bubba Wilkes, passed away in the middle of his term. So I ran in a special election to fill the rest of his term. And my theme of my campaign was steady hands and a level head. And that has been kind of my motto through my banking career. So I felt like I could bring those steady hands and level head to the table.
Well, we need that not just in the county level commissions, Amory. We need it at the state level, and we need it at the federal level. We need a lot of steady hands and a lot of level heads, because that isn't always what we get with our elected officials. When you first ran, what was important to you then, and maybe how has that changed since your first term?
Well, I'm in my first full term, so I have been on the commission since, at the end of 2020.
So would this be 5 years? Okay, got you. Yep.
Yeah, so I've been on there 5 years. I'm up for, as we say in the financial industry, we're up for renewal next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see that. But I think that it's just important to be concerned about the quality of life. I think in a local politics, you don't have much say in what's going on in Atlanta or Washington, but you do have an impact on the quality of lives of your residents.
Sure.
And so that was one of my concerns, was to maintain that quality of life, to be proud to call Oconee County home was very important. One of the main things I wanted to do was to reduce the millage rate that we charge our citizens on county property taxes. And I was fortunate, Mark, that my fellow commissioners felt the same way. So we've been very successful for a number of years, being able to reduce our millage rate to offset the what's happening with property values, which is skyrocketing. And so I'm real proud that we've been able to do that. But it's the quality of life issues, and there's so many that's associated in everybody's lives. I mean, you got law enforcement, you got fire and rescue, you got, solid waste, just parks and recreation. There's so many things that touches our citizens that we need to ensure that we maintain that quality of life for them.
Yeah, and so many of the decisions that are made on the county level, just like you said, Amory, they impact people on a daily basis. So it's critically important that we pay attention to who we are electing those seats, that we're getting the right people that have steady hands and level heads. I love that phrase. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest is Oconee County Commissioner Amory Hardin. Collaboration is key, when you're a commissioner. How do you approach working with staff, your fellow commissioners, and, getting voters on board and understanding what you're trying to accomplish? How do you put that together?
Well, I give credit to the chairman, John Daniel, and the other commissioners. They implemented having regular scheduled town hall meetings, and I call them open mic nights. You could come, we'd have these approximately every 3 or 4 months, and we would have people could just come and talk about anything they wanted to for as long as they wanted to. And I think that, communications is very important. With social media, you can get out in front, get information out, if people use it properly. So I think the collaboration that we have among our staff, my role is, as it was when I was in banking, is that you hire good people, and you get out of their way, but you also monitor and make sure that they're accomplishing what you want to accomplish. So we're blessed with good professional staff throughout our departments and our employees. We've been real blessed with that. And collaboration is important. I know at the time there was a little tiff between the school board and the Board of Commissioners, and I think we just had to work at that to rebuild that working relationship, and I think we've accomplished that. But the key to I think our success is to make sure that we're transparent and being responsive. If I get a phone call or a direct email, I certainly respond to those. So that's very important. But
and do voters?
No,
do voters take advantage of that opportunity to come in when you do that every 3 or 4 months, kind of the open town hall that you just mentioned? Or do you see that the constituents are coming in and sharing their message or their concerns?
And it's really interesting. It also gives us an opportunity to get information out of things that are perhaps going on in the community. So it's a two-way communication piece. But again, if there happens to be a hot topic, we may have a citizen group if they're interested in parks and recreation. I remember one town hall we had one night where we had, like 10 or 15 people to come talk to us about what they envisioned for what they wanted in the way of parks and recreation. So that's just an example.
Yeah, got you. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Amory Hardin, Oconee County Commissioner, he is our guest. So tell us about the re-election effort. So I didn't realize your term was up. I in doing my show prep last night, I didn't see that. So obviously we're primary season right now. Do you have anybody that surfaced that's going to be challenging you on the Republican side, or do you got a clean slate to get to May?
Well, that's a little too early, Mark. I think there's some other people just taking up all the oxygen in the room.
No doubt. No doubt.
And, I've made it official. I've announced it publicly at the local GOP meeting a couple of months ago. But I'm deferring my, getting active in my reelection campaign until after the first of the year. Of course, as you know, qualifying is not until, March or whenever.
Yeah, March 16th, I think.
And so I won't know if I'll have any body wanting the same job that I have or position I have until closer to then. But I have already offered myself for another term, and looking forward to that time.
Absolutely. And if do you have a campaign page set up yet? Are you there, or is it just a little bit more grassroots? What's the vision for the campaign or the re-election campaign?
Well, as I say, after the first year, I'll ramp that up. I kind of given space to the other elections that have been going on currently in our community. And I don't want to get lost in the in the crowd.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's so much going on. And
maybe a little. Yeah, there's a lot of other folks campaigning out there. I don't want to get lost in the crowd.
Yeah, we had a little shocker the other night in Oconee County with 121. But I said it yesterday on the show. The Democrats can enjoy that seat for a year. The Republicans will take it back in November of 2026. I'm quite confident of that. Last thing I want to ask you, Commissioner, is what message you want to share with the people of Oconee County about what your continued service will be and the hopes for Oconee County's future. What's your vision for what's next?
Well, as I say, I want to continue to ensure the quality of life that people have come to expect. We have a lot of things going on that can affect that. Positive things are happening. But we also have the pressures of just what every community has, and that's the issue of growth, trying to balance that. Everybody has property rights, and so we have to be very, judicious about that. So we're focused on maintaining our community character, and that's just probably will be the theme of my campaign, is to continue to serve with steady hands and a level head.
I love it. I think it's a great slogan. Commissioner Hardin, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today, and we wish you the best in your re-election campaign, and keep up the good work in Oconee County for us.
All right. Thanks so much, Mark. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, Keith Glass, Bill Phillips. We're going to talk VFW. We're going to talk Shop with the Hero. We're going to talk all kinds of stuff. Stick around.
Real country.
This is Q92.3 WMOQ FM, Bostwick, Monroe, Madison. Your home for real country.
Lake Life is the Lake Area's largest award-winning magazine, reaching over 25,000 readers. Pick up your copy of Lake Life magazine today. Get Lake Life free at over 100 convenient locations in Georgia's Lake Country. And keep in mind, you'll receive your free copy with a subscription to the Lake Oconee News or the Eatonton Messenger. Lake Life. It's all about the lives and events in Georgia's Lake Country. Call 706-485-3501 to subscribe. Lake Life, the biggest, the best, and it's free.
I've got to tell you about the best kept secret in Monroe for electric wholesale supply, Allen's Electric. Family owned and operated since 1972, Allen's Electric offers a complete line of electrical supply, wiring, breakers, bulbs, heating elements, electric motors, light fixtures, and so much more. Located at 925 West Spring Street in Monroe, stop by and see Brian and Cindy, in business for over 50 years. That's Allen Electric Supply, 770-267-5572.
Roll-Off Systems of Statham, they're on a roll. They offer dumpsters in all sizes, trash compactors, porta potties, and new combo cans. Existing sites are new building sites. Trash and waste disposal, it's their business. Locally owned and operated. Call Roll-Off Systems today. 770-725-ROLL. That's 770-725-ROLL. Or go to rolloffsystems.com.
The holiday season is in full swing at Boss Brothers, and there's one event you don't want to miss. Join us Saturday, December 13th from 9 to noon for Pictures with Farmer Santa. It's a Christmas tradition for so many local families, bringing the kids, bringing the pets, and capturing a moment that just feels like home. Enjoy a sweet treat from our festive candy wagon and browse great gift ideas throughout the store. Celebrate the season with your hometown favorite, Boss Brothers, located at 3084 Highway 78 in Loganville.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Our next guest, former Chief of Police in the City of Monroe, Keith Glass, and Bill Phillips. He is the commander of the VFW here in Monroe. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having us.
Absolutely. So let's start with you, Bill. Tell us a little bit about your background, little backstory, family, history of Bill Phillips.
Okay. In 2000, we moved to Monroe.
Where are you from?
Cobb County.
Okay, yeah.
Cobb County, graduated from Maryland High School.
You came the right way.
Yes. I love it out here. I love it out here.
Everybody does. That's where they're all coming out here, Bill.
I married a lady that lived in Snellville
before
I moved here. And I hunted out here all the time. And I said, we've got to move out there. And she said, no, that's too far.
It was the sticks back then.
Yeah. We had to drive to Atlanta. I worked at CDC, and she did too.
Okay.
And it was an hour drive. She said, that's just adding more time to my travel. And so I finally convinced her to move out. So we moved in town in 2000.
Okay.
And then in 2013, we moved out to Good Hope.
Keep going east.
Yes.
That's right.
Get out of the crowd.
Absolutely. That's it. What about you, Chief? Were you a Monroe native?
Oh, I grew up at 910 South Broad Street. I'm a product of the Cotton Mill Village. We had two mills here. We had the old mill and the new mill. The old mill, I think, started operation in 1895, and the new mill.
Think of that.
New mill started in 1900, so there wasn't much age difference. But that most folks we would refer to them, and still anybody that's been here any length of time, it's the old mill or the new mill.
That's right, and that's what Monroe was a mill town. That was the big thing. That was a big industry, and I love how they have repurposed these mills to keep their architectural integrity and the history there. Now most of them are antique malls or venues, right, for events. But there's something charming about being able to go back and visit those places that have been standing for well over 100 years.
Well, you go back in them, and you always think about over at the old mill. I was a supervisor, and on the third shift, and you go up this this stair tower, and up at the top is a window, and on Friday nights I'd be looking out that window seeing if them dolphins were going to come in, or if I was going to have to dolph, or what I was going to have to do that night. But growing up on the Mill Village was a great experience. I tell you, I wish my kids had been able to grow up the same way. Times have changed a little bit, but
Chief, what did your parents do?
Well, my mama raised me until probably about, I think when I got in about the third grade, she went to work for what become Oxford Industries. It was Southeastern, and it was actually back over in there in the area where Potluck's at now.
Okay.
And then it become Oxford, which is out, the building is still out on Cherry Hill Road. Daddy, his first job, he was a soda jerk, because his family was sharecroppers. My mama's family had come from sharecroppers. Her daddy had traveled and done work in mills, repair work. And Daddy worked his way up in the mill. He worked there his entire career. He started out a spinning dolphin, what I was looking out the window for.
Yeah.
And anyway, he ended up being a department head. And so I still remember the old mill whistle would blow 3 times. One time supposed to, I guess, wake you up, and one time let you know you got 5 minutes, and then it'd blow one loud blast. That'd let you know you're supposed to already be
You're
on
late.
the job. Yeah. But growing up on the mill village was great. Always had a yard full of folks to play with.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a great experience.
Bill, your time, what was your path to the CDC? You mentioned that was your career. How long were you there for, and what did you do before that?
I was there for 26 years, and I was chief of plant operations there. And before that, I worked in construction.
Okay.
All around Atlanta.
Got you.
And after I moved to Monroe, now I served on the board of zoning and planning board for a couple of years. Took Gerald Atha's place at that time.
Okay. Yeah, so involved on the county level.
Yes.
And what about a military experience for you guys? Tell me about that. Chief, we'll come back to you.
Me and a buddy named Scott Cameron had this plan we were going to join the Georgia Guard. Me and Scott at that time were, sometime we'd get in trouble, but Scott and another buddy had partaken of too much drink one night, and they ended up at Mepps in Atlanta, and he was gone to the Army, and I went by to see about him, and his mama told me, I said, "Where's Scott at? I ain't seen him." It's back before everybody had phones and pages, and she said, "Oh, Lord, honey, he done joined the Army." So
Chastity, taking too much to drink is politically correct for saying he got drunk.
something like that. But anyway, they end up, he spent time in the 82nd Airborne and ended up retiring out of the Navy.
Yeah.
But I ended up staying in the Guard, been mobilized, went to Bosnia. I served in the 178th MP Company, the 121st LURS unit, back to the 190th MP Company. Then served as Command Sergeant Major, 1st Battalion, 121st Infantry, and then I retired. I was a 78th Troop Command Sergeant Major. And the military afforded me so many opportunities, from education and just to what you learn by your military experiences.
Sure.
And you build a fellowship with those folks. It's it ties right back into what Bill will be talking about the VFW and what it does for veterans today, and trying to make sure I won't say most, but there's a lot of veterans have no idea what benefits are available to them.
And it's more than just camaraderie.
Yes,
I mean, that's right. You guys have actual services that you provide, especially those that may be struggling with something. It is an incredibly important aspect to this community and every community where they serve. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, our former Chief of Police, Keith Glass, and VFW Commander Bill Phillips. Bill, tell us about your journey.
Yes. When several years ago, Courtney Chancey invited me to the VFW meeting, and I never had been to one before. So I went to there for several months and got to know everybody and seen what it involved and see how it could help veterans. And I'm all for helping a veteran.
Sure.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
We served our time, and we need to take up for all our veterans.
That's right. Yeah.
I feel disappointed back when I was in Vietnam, and come back. There was several thousand people that got killed in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And today, you take, Desert Storm and all that, one or two people get killed, and they really recognize them. But back in the Vietnam era, all these thousands got killed, and they wasn't recognized like the people today.
It's shameful. It's shameful. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't until the first Gulf War that I think there was a reckoning.
Yes.
That I think that there was I think Americans looked back and said, wait a minute, we screwed up. We really did a disservice to our veterans of Vietnam, not just in not recognizing them, Bill,
yes,
but the way that they were treated when they came home.
Yes.
And I match that group that was vociferous and demonstrative in attacking our veterans in the airports and when they returned is the same group that marched and burned down our cities in 2020, right?
Yes.
Maybe descendants of or whatever, but you know what I mean? Collectively, mindset, same people. And it is shameful what we allowed to happen. But I, at least at some point, there was a reckoning and hopefully it's been made up.
Yes. I really think they're really trying to help the veterans today.
Yeah.
Compared to years ago.
Well, and I appreciate both of you for your service to our country. We had a veteran on yesterday that was given his success story, Rob Scott, and he was talking about his, how he signed up with the Navy and the time that he served, and he was just laser focused on what he was going to do in the Navy. He wasn't necessarily, he was kind of floundering as a teenager. And that time in the service kind of got him on the path, right? It set him straight, and he's ultimately turned out to be an incredibly successful human being. But he attributes a lot of that to the Navy and his time in the service.
Yes.
The CDC is something. I want to go back to that for just a second. When you started with the CDC, what year would that have been? Was that in the late 90s or early 2000s?
Started in 79.
Oh my goodness! So you were the CDC in 79.
Yes.
So back then, the CDC recently has been kind of, I'm not going to say accused, but associated with a political agenda. I don't know if that's, I haven't done a scientific analysis of that, but we've heard that over the past 5 years, especially since COVID. Did you see that when you were with them, or was it just pure business what they were doing?
Oh, it's business back then.
Yeah.
Politics wasn't that much involved in it.
But it's permeated the CDC as of late, hasn't it?
Yes. And, our people don't realize what CDC really does, all the research that they do. My wife was a phlebotomist there, and she drew blood, and she supplied it to the scientist. Well, when AIDS come along, they had to contract that out because she could not know who had AIDS and who didn't as an employer. So she was over that contract. And I was over, like I say, chief of plant operations, over all the maintenance, laboratory equipment, and such as that.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting show to do to figure out how did the CDC become politicized, and we won't solve that mystery today. But I was just curious, from your perspective, back in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, did you see it then? And it's interesting, from your perspective back then, it was just doing what they were supposed to be doing, what they were initiated to do.
Yes.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, more with Chief Glass and Bill Phillips.
Looking for that perfect piece of jewelry designed just for you? At P&A Jewelers, family owned since 1976, we've been helping our customers shine for nearly 50 years. Now proudly run by second-generation brother and sister team, we specialize in custom jewelry design, expert repair work, and fine jewelry for every occasion. Visit P&A Jewelers, where family tradition sparkles. Located in Loganville beside Quick Trip, or online at shoppajewelers.com. Follow us on Facebook to see what's new.
Your call is very important.
Still waiting on your cable company to care? With slow speeds and hidden fees, maybe it's time to pull the plug. Kinetic gives you 100% fiber and gig speeds with 25 times faster uploads than cable. Local service that actually shows up, and clear pricing that isn't there to surprise you. So ditch cable and connect with the right crowd. Get up to $200 when you switch. Visit GoKinetic.com. Kinetic. Internet better. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you have unwanted or scrap gold and silver jewelry just lying around? What about sterling flatware or gold and silver coins and bars? Madison Coin and Bullion will pay top dollar for any precious metals you own. Madison Coin and Bullion also offers a large selection of gold and silver coins and bullion available to purchase at competitive prices. And if you're looking to purchase jewelry at a considerably lower price, look no further than Madison Coin and Bullion. Madison Coin and Bullion, located at 2492 Eatonton Road in Madison, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
There's something about a clock. It keeps working even when you don't think about it. All day, all night. Behind the clock is a machine you'll never see. Always reliable, always accurate. It wasn't a mistake when we named our heating and air company Clockwork. Yeah, some folks call us and ask if we can fix their watches. We can't. But we can fix your furnace and air conditioning brilliantly, so it runs like a clock. Runs when you're not even thinking about it. But there's something else about the clock in Clockwork Heating and Air Conditioning. We have mad respect for time. We make ourselves available on your time. We never waste your time. And we're at your house in a timely manner. This is what it means to work like clockwork. Clockwork Heating and Air Conditioning. Clockwork-air.com.
Your family and friends will love the Christmas gifts from Stripling's General Store. See their huge selection of holiday gift boxes with smoked sausage, country cured ham, beef jerky, jellies, old-fashioned hoop cheese, barbecue sauce, and more. Choose a pre-made box, or you can put together a box that fits your needs and budget. Jimmy Cap, his family and staff wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stripling's General Store, Highway 78 East and Highway 53 in Bogart.
And welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Our guests are former Chief of Police, City of Monroe, Keith Glass, and VFW Commander Bill Phillips. Keith, let's shift to you for a minute. Tell us about your journey on how you became Chief of Police of the City of Monroe. What year was that?
2002. I'd been in the textile machinery business. I'd worked with an uncle who was doing what my grandfather had done, my mama's brother. And I had gotten in a deal, and it kind of went sideways, and I'd always thought about being a police. So riding down the road between Gastonia, North Carolina, and Spartanburg, South Carolina, I made a decision that I was going to do what I'd been thinking about doing all my life. So
you're on a road trip, and you said, "Hey, this is my new direction."
I'm through dealing with the crooks I'm dealing with over here, so I'll do it different. So I applied at Monroe, and back then, when you got hired, the whole council voted on it.
Yeah,
it's not like in today's world. But I was a patrol officer. I worked a lot of high crime areas, and I concentrated mostly on trying to impact crack cocaine, and because I felt like that, and still today, the narcotics trade has such an impact on your community.
Absolutely does. Yeah.
One time I had a council person tell me, "So, well, as long as you keep it on this street or that street, probably all right."
We can tolerate it. Yeah.
I said, but the thing about it is, what's going on over there affects Belle Meade just like it affects anywhere else.
That's right.
It affects the whole community, so you just have to really fight it. But I'm trying to get my numbers right. I think when I got appointed chief in 2002, I was the sixth person that had been the chief there, and I'd been an employee 9 years.
So you put in your time. Yeah. Work through the ranks.
You had I got deployed to Bosnia. I'd already made sergeant major, but I got deployed to Bosnia. And when I got home, the chief had resigned or left and was going somewhere else, and I had applied a couple of times before, but this time with the experience from the military, and I had a proven track record in the street, but the time is what I was doing as a command sergeant major in Bosnia. That gave me a stronger background.
Sure.
And I'm thankful I was given the opportunity. I served as chief of police almost 17 years, not quite 17 years.
What were some of the biggest challenges? You mentioned the drugs that were taking place in Monroe at the time. Did that remain the same throughout your tenure as chief of police? Was that always kind of number one?
Well, that always drove most of the other larcenies or most of the addiction. The hard part was talking to families, and they'd have a loved one that was addicted, and I'd always look at them and I say, you're dealing with the addiction.
Yeah.
Your loved one right there, there's nothing more pressing to him or her than satisfying that addiction. And
That's
I
right.
said until we get that person where they recognize that and they say, I'm ready to get straight, no matter how hard you go. I said, you need to pray a lot because it's
not an easy journey.
It's tough. But narcotics, and we done a lot of stuff. We done stuff, work with things that I was doing different was I was doing stuff with using DEA. We had a task force at the time. It was called East Metro at Work Narcotics. One of the largest cases here was on a family that had been in the cocaine business a long time, who today, even though I was instrumental in them going to federal prison, I see them, we talk.
Isn't that something?
Well, I never hated the human. I always hated what they were doing or the effects of what they were doing, and I always tried to keep that as a peace of mind for me, not to get focused,
not to
on
make
the
it personal.
individual, but yeah.
Well, and I was speaking to sheriff down in Jasper County. Good Lord, my mind just slipped me what his name is. He's a dear friend of mine. He'll kick my butt if I forget his name, so we'll get that in just a second. But we were talking about the fact drug usage is not a victimless crime, and what he meant by that is that you're going to have people that are going to commit crimes because of the fact they need to have access to money to buy drugs. So whether it be breaking and entering or assaulting somebody, so it's not a victimless crime. It's going to lead to other types of crimes, and that's why it has to be addressed. Donnie Pope, that's my buddy. Good Lord.
Yes.
So yeah, it can't be ignored. It has to be zero tolerance. Even like you said, if it's in a pocket, they say, well, it's confined to that little area of the town over there. It's going to spread, and it's going to reach somebody else.
When we done the operation on that one particular family, it was a 10-month operation. That affected our crime statistics for 2 years.
Did it really? Yeah.
Dropped them. When in 2016, 2017, we worked with the Athens FBI office on is actually a President Obama initiative. It's Safer Streets. And I think we ended up in that operation indicting close to 80 people. And a small community the size of Monroe, which just grown a lot, but we don't have the resources to invest $250,000, $300,000 in buying information, narcotics, weapons.
Right. Yeah.
So it's and we've had. But you gotta fight it. You gotta fight it hard.
You have to have collaborative
and on the
efforts,
other side, you got to try to help folks that are trying to recover from this addiction. That's trying to, because it's rough.
It is.
I mean, it's hard, and I've seen people pawn their kids' Christmas for rock cocaine.
Well, and Chief, the frustrating part is that the retention rate of some of these drugs are as high as 90% or north of 90%, meaning that if you get addicted to that drug, you have less than a 10% chance of getting off that drug, and that is a startling, dangerous, frightening number in many forms or fashion.
Well, on on multiple occasions, I've been to a location where I'm looking at somebody that I've known or know that's dead, and there'd be a crack pipe, and there'd be a Xanny bar, and there'd be some Lortab, and they start making these cocktails.
Good Lord, man!
Your body can't handle but so much. And,
it's just frightening.
But to the families that are, there's somebody's here in this day that's going through it. Be prayerful, but that individual's the only one that's going to decide they're going to get better.
That's right, and that's why I support President.
Don't love your loved one to death, and you can do that. I've seen that happen.
Well, don't enable. Right. I'm a firm believer in what President Trump's doing, and that we strike the source, but we also have to have a place here where we get to the root cause of why people are wanting to do this and why they're getting addicted. It's a frightening trend. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. Our guest, our Chief Keith Glass. We're talking about his time as chief of police and the issues that our community face. Bill Phillips, he's a commander of the VFW here in Monroe. Bill, it's interesting because when you look at a lot of our veterans, their path, well, let me reverse that. A lot of our law enforcement, their initial path was serving our country.
Yes.
And not all of them. I mean, we've got Chief Keith Brooks. He's not a veteran, and he's just absolutely fantastic for Walton County.
You better correct that and say sheriff.
That's right. Did I say Chief Brooks?
Yeah.
Sheriff Keith. I meant to say Keith Brooks. Oh, my Lord. Now I got two sheriffs mad at me. I got Donnie Pope down in Jasper, and I got Keith Brooks here in Walton County. I think I'm going to get a ticket on the way home. But Sheriff Keith Brooks has been absolutely fantastic for us, and he's not a veteran, but a lot of these guys do take that path. And do you see at the VFW, do you have a lot of guys that are in there that are not just veterans, but are that current law enforcement? Because those guys, they've seen things at their time serving our country, and then they become law enforcement, and once again, they're seeing things on a daily or weekly basis that the average citizen doesn't see maybe in their lifetime.
Yes. We've got several young veterans that come in that is in the police force. Our quartermaster, Lincoln Hughes, he's I think first lieutenant on the police force, and got several others on the police force that's with us. And the veterans, I hope we'll see them in there, and when they become get out of service, become law enforcement, that they'll do the same thing to see what benefits they can get through the Veterans Association.
I think it's vitally important, like I said, because of the fact that we've already seen the elevated suicide rate amongst veterans, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst pandemics our nation is facing right now, and it has to be addressed wholeheartedly. But then you complex that or compound that with somebody who then goes into a law enforcement career, which is high stress. It's not necessarily going to be fantastic pay, so there's going to be financial stress within the family if it's a young family. So they're kind of hit from all these different angles, and I think that emphasizes the importance of a VFW in a community. Like I said, outside of the camaraderie, the resources that you guys can provide when somebody's maybe, under duress.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do is to, if one of them's got a problem, come to us and we can talk it over.
That's right.
And try to work with them, and we've got several other agencies that work with us, and if we can't help them in some way, we got somebody we can refer them to.
That's right.
If they're homeless or in financial straits or whatever, that we got other people that can help them out.
You guys can be a resource.
Yes.
You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, more with Keith Glass and Bill Phillips.
Flooring, located at 1167 Eatonton Road in Madison, is your full-service and professional installation center for all kinds of flooring, from tile, carpet, laminate, wood. They even do showers. They have granite and quartz countertops. All military, police, firefighters, and teachers ask for your discount. Madison Flooring is locally owned and operated. For knowledgeable and friendly service, call 706-431-5152.
When your windows need cleaning, you need Moreland Window Cleaning. They're a Christ-centered, family-oriented business that takes pride in treating your home like it's their own. They provide affordable and reliable window cleaning services for your home or business, both exterior and interior. Give them a call for your free quote today, 770-298-8370. Moreland Window Cleaning. They guarantee crystal clear views every time. That's 770-298-8370.
Youngblood Tractor in Madison is proud to be your local Massey Ferguson dealer. Massey Ferguson has been building straightforward, dependable, and affordable tractors and farm equipment for 175 years. Massey Ferguson right now has the best lineup in their 175-year history, and there has never been a better time to upgrade to a Massey Ferguson tractor. Youngblood Tractor carries the complete lineup of Massey Ferguson tractors ranging from the 22.5 horsepower subcompact all the way up to the 130 horsepower mid-range utility tractor. And with one of the largest trailer inventories in the state, you'll always have a way to get it home. Youngblood Tractor also carries the complete lineup of hay equipment, including the legendary Massey Ferguson 1840 square baler, as well as implements like rotary cutters, batwing cutters, box blades, grapples, pallet forks, and more. There are great financing promotions to take advantage of, so give us a call today at 706-342-2242. Youngblood Tractor also has experienced parts and service departments to take care of you after the sale. Visit us online at www.youngbloodtractor.com or stop by and see us at 1600 Athens Highway in Madison.
I know it's getting cold, but Loganville Ford is heating things up. That's right, Loganville Ford is turning up the heat with the year-end sales event. We've got a full lot with thousands and thousands of dollars off brand new Fords. If you're looking for reliability and value, check out our lineup of Ford certified pre-owned vehicles. All inspected, road tested, so you can drive with confidence. But hurry, when the clock hits midnight on December 31st, these deals will melt away. Loganville Ford, big savings, hot deals, even in the cold.
Finding that missing shin guard, remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan.
Oh, come on, Ref!
This is Esther Peters at Jim Boyd & Associates, Madison, Georgia, 706-342-2411 or jimboydagency.com.
Welcome back. Marc McMain, our guest, our former Chief of Police, City of Monroe, Keith Glass, Bill Phillips, Commander of the VFW here in Monroe. Gentlemen, let's talk about the new VFW building. I know this is going to be a real exciting thing when it opens its doors finally. A lot of people within the community have stepped up to help out to see this dream come to reality. I remember the old days when the VFW was in downtown Monroe.
Right.
Remember where we'd have the old GOP meetings? Right? And that was like a sweatshop back in the middle of summer.
But back then, when we had the old building, the membership got down to about 4 people.
Okay.
Of the VFW.
The VFW members, yep.
And it was fixing to shut down completely. So Joe Chapman jumped in, former sheriff.
Yep.
He jumped in. He said, that's not going to happen. So he started, talking to people and getting people to go, and I got invited and got involved in it. And as we got more members, we seen that some of the veterans that was not veterans of war, they couldn't qualify to join VFW.
But they needed a place to go.
To go. So we formed the Walton County Veterans Association.
Okay.
And in that, all you have to do is be able to serve. You can serve anywhere in the United States. It doesn't have to be a war zone.
I got you. Okay.
So that opened up a big can of worms, you might say, that a lot more people get involved with it.
Yeah.
So we've really grown. Now we've probably got between 60, 65 members now.
Wow.
From 4 to 65.
How often do y'all meet?
We meet once a month, first Monday of every month at 6 p.m. We meet over at the sheriff's old jail.
That's the current location.
That's the current location we meet. Of course, when we sold the old building, we had the sheriff let us meet over there. And Sheriff Brooks said we can continue to meet over there until we get our new building going, and we can meet over our new building.
Is there an ETA on the new building? I know it's coming along pretty well.
We think probably be February or March now.
Soon? Okay.
We was hoping like December the way it was going, but it kind of slowed down. And now it's looking like February or March before we'll be able to get in the building.
What were some of the biggest challenges? You know, I know probably financial.
Financial was a big challenge. We didn't have, the building itself was right $1 million what it cost to build it.
Wow.
So we didn't have $1 million, of course. So we started going out trying to get donations to help us financially. Well, there's several people who stepped up. They've given us money and helped out a tremendous amount. And all the money that's donated is tax-free. It's tax exempt, tax exempt.
So they get a deduction.
They get a deduction. We got a form to give to you if you do give a donation.
Yeah, we're going to call that out so that if somebody wants to contribute, because is there still a shortfall? Do you guys still have fundraising to do to complete the project?
Yes, we need a little bit more money to really be comfortable when we complete it.
Yeah. But it's going to be a great place when it's done. It sounds like it's going to be a great meeting place. It's right there off Snows Mill Road. And I think it's something that Monroe's going to be very proud of when it's finished.
Yes, I think they would. And the veterans will be really excited because they'll have a place to go, on the weekends or somewhere when they want to go just sit and talk to other veterans.
What are some of the features that the new building has, other than the fact that it's new? Because I can't emphasize enough the old place in downtown Monroe. It was actually a great little meeting place, but boy, in the middle of summer, if you had a meeting there in June, that place got a little toasty, especially if you put 40 or 50 bodies in there.
It did. We got it. The new building now has got a good sized room in the front part of it for the activities.
Okay.
For meetings, birthday parties, whatever. And that's one thing we will be able to rent it out to individuals, if they want to have a birthday party, anniversary, or whatever.
Brilliant idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And the back side of it is more for, stand and talk to each other on the back side of it.
Chief, you've worked closely with the VFW on community events over the years. What does this new building mean for Monroe?
It gives the Monroe VFW a platform that I don't think it's had since way back when the VFW, when I was a little boy, was on the hilltop out on West Spring.
Oh.
Had a full-service restaurant in it.
Wow.
It was, you didn't have Longhorns, you didn't have the golf club, you didn't have, and that was a place that served food, and I won't say how, but back in the old days, the VFW done a lot for the Drum and Bugle Corps.
Okay.
Without the VFW back in the day, they never would have been a Monroe Drum and Bugle Corps.
That was located right there by Captain D's.
Yep, up on the hill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it gives the VFW a platform that we can provide better services to the veteran, but not only veterans, to the community as a whole. Joe, Sheriff Chapman, I'm going to tell you, he has done, I can't say enough about what he's done to make this happen.
He's put in several hours.
He's been a catalyst.
He's really living about getting that thing done.
Yeah.
He's been the ramrod on it. He's been the force that just wouldn't take no.
Well,
and kept it going. So I'm real proud that he's and that all the other folks, everybody down there has contributed time or funds, and you got some business folks in town that
people stepped up big. Yeah.
Really helped out.
I love seeing that too. This is a community event. It's a community effort, and it's going to be something everyone's going to be able to be proud of. I know that too. The new location will give you guys an opportunity to expand those services that you talk about. What are the services? So, if you are not a member of the VFW and you have served our country, whether in a foreign war, I guess I understand now for Monroe, you don't necessarily have to have checked that box. Just served our country, and you can be part of this. Is that correct? Is this open to all veterans?
It's all veterans.
Okay.
All veterans. You don't have to, like I say, you don't have to serve in a war zone, just as long as you was in the service.
Just served.
Just served.
So tell us about the services. Give us a breakdown, if you will, of what a veteran can expect if they decide to come and join the VFW.
Okay, we'll do everything to help him in any way we can. example as far as disability. A lot of veterans don't realize, the disability that they can get until it's, put in front of them. And it doesn't take much to get disability today.
So they go and they serve, something tragic happens to them, they come back and they don't realize or they don't know the process of how to apply.
How to apply.
Yeah.
Our secretary, she used to work for a general, and she handled a lot of disability cases.
Okay.
So she really knows how to get your application to the VA to be able to get these disabilities. And also, if they come to us and they've got a problem, if they're homeless or got a financial problem, we've got other people that work with us that can help in that perspective.
Yeah.
And there's also another association that we worked with a little bit, and it's called Working Dogs for Veterans. And it'd be like a service dog.
Okay.
That they will help veterans to get that.
To match them up with an appropriate service. Yeah. Would that be for a veteran that maybe's lost their sight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they can, and I've got the telephone number. If somebody needs that help, they can call me, and I can give them the number and get them attached to that.
How does somebody find out more about the VFW Road? Do you guys have a website? Do you have a Facebook page?
We've got a Facebook page.
Okay.
And it says, pretty good things about the VFW, what we do, and different things, events we have.
Keeps them up to date on what's taking place.
Yes.
Yep. Excellent. You're listening to the Marc McMain Show. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Chief Class Bill Phillips, wrap up our VFW conversation, and shine a little light on the shop with the hero events that are going on right now in our area.
If you're selling or buying a home, you should call AMPM Septic to inspect your septic tank. This could save you on costly repairs. AMPM pumps your tank, fixes septic alarms, drain lines. They can fix any problem you're having with your septic tank. Call 770-231-7979. They do inspection letters. AMPM is family owned and operated, licensed and insured company. Call David for all your septic needs. 770-231-7979.
This Christmas, K&D Shoes and Conyers has got the perfect gifts for the man on your Christmas list. Check out their huge selection of rugged workwear to athletic footwear from Hoka. Help him step out in style, and a brand new pair of jeans from Marriott. Great for work or a night on the town. If boots are on the Christmas list, see their great selection of boots from Marriott, Georgia Boot, Rocky, Brunt, and more. Not sure what to buy? Then check out the gift cards. One size fits all. This Christmas, your one-stop shop for the man on your Christmas list is K&D Shoes. Open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. 2240 Dogwood Drive in Conyers. That's K&D Shoes in Conyers. To learn more, go to kndshoes.com. Merry Christmas from K&D Shoes.
Don't wait to transform your home with Moncrief Flooring and Remodeling. Be ready to entertain for the holidays. From stylish floors to full kitchen and bathroom makeovers, it's quality craftsmanship on your new hardwood plank, tile, carpet, or laminate flooring. Give them a call at 770-589-9546 to schedule an appointment. Let's build something beautiful together. Located at 4915 Highway 138 in Loganville. Moncrief Flooring and Remodeling, where dream homes begin.
Is technology giving you a tough time at your home or business? Don't worry, Big Mountain Computers is here to help. We're your local tech experts, now open in Madison. Our white glove service ensures personalized solutions for all your IT needs. Hardware fixes, remote support, private lessons, and more. Visit us at Madison Plaza across from Ingalls or call 706-343-4184 to schedule your consultation. That's 706-343-4184. Big Mountain Computers, turning your mountains into molehills.
Affordable housing is just around the corner at Cimarron Park. Cimarron Park is a mobile community located on Harry Arnold Road, just off of Highway 78 in Monroe, that offers 2 and 3 bedroom homes with spacious wooded lots, lit streets, and a family-friendly atmosphere. Some homes are for sale with available financing. Call James for all the details. 404-401-1068. That's 404-401-1068. Or go to CimarronPark.com.
Welcome back to the Marc McMain Show. Continuing our conversation with former Chief of Police Monroe, Keith Glass, and the VFW Monroe Commander, Bill Phillips. Gentlemen, one more thing to talk about going back to the VFW. So we mentioned this at the beginning of the show. The VFW was very generous in helping support Chastity's entity, Hands of Hope, Walton County. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that. Tell us what y'all did to step up and help her.
Yeah, Chris, come to our meeting.
Yes.
A couple of months
ago. October. Uh-huh.
To present this to us and said that, they're trying to find a place for disabled children to
That's right.
play.
Yep.
And they hadn't been able to get a place. So they come to ask us, we have enough land behind our building that we could accommodate the playground.
That is just fantastic.
And
it's beautiful.
So
it's perfect.
Keith can probably tell you a little more. He's on the committee for that. Mm-hmm. So he can probably tell you a little bit more than I can.
Well, this is once again an example of community stepping up and helping out.
Yes.
Because I know Chastity has been working on this project ever since I've known you, which is about 4 years ago when I met Chastity. So I know this was her mission back then, and she has faced many headwinds in trying to find a space, a geography to put this park. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think there's a lot of parents that will take advantage of this for the children who are facing disabilities.
Yes,
and so she's faced a lot of headwinds, and for you guys to step up and provide the real estate for this, boy, that's a big box checked off your list, right?
That's a blessing.
That's what we're there for, the community.
Well, think of that.
And
that's just great.
Like I say, when they go to other parts, there's a lot of things they can't get on.
That's right.
Because they're handicapped. And so this will help all of them.
That's right.
That's right.
And it'll help let them know about us also when they're there.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yes.
It's just part of being a part of the community. And, that area's, I don't like to get into religious stuff, but, there's God things.
Yeah.
That I firmly believe in, and it's kind of we kind of got brought together in a strange way, but it's all worked out, and we look forward to.
Religious conversation is safe here, Chief, and I believe God had his hand in this whole deal.
That's
There's
right.
no right.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
right. It's amazing how that works out.
You have to be careful talking politics and religion.
That's about all we talk about on the show, isn't it, Chastity?
And food.
And food. I think on our first show we talk about everything you're not supposed to talk about at the Thanksgiving and the Christmas table. We discuss it right here on the Marc McMain Show, and we're not worried about hurting anyone's feelings. Chief, let's shift gears a little bit. For the past week and a half, I've been attending some of the Shop with the Hero, Shop with the Cop events that have been taking place in our community. It is such an inspiration to see, once again, our citizens, our heroes getting together, everyone from different walks of life, whether it be churches, whether it be nonprofits, law enforcement, or just folks that need a little extra help at this time of year, all joining forces and doing some wonderful things for kids. Tell us what your role was with this in Monroe. To get it launched?
Well, in Monroe, in the first year I was a chief, myself and a couple of officers scraped up some funds, and it was out of our pockets, and we actually delivered Christmas to a couple of families out of the back of a square-bodied Chevrolet police car, and so from there some people found out about it, and some folks started wanting to help. And it went from a couple of families to 25 families.
Wow.
To the year I retired, I think we'd done around 170. And it had gotten to a point where when I was leaving, I told them, I said, you need you need a board to run this thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's money-wise, it's getting too big. Number of kids is getting too big. But we had so much support from individuals, but Walton Bear Board of Realtors, the Kiwanis, just, all the core community groups always helped us. But that's evolved into what's now Shop with a Hometown Hero.
Right.
Which now they have 3 Tuesdays, the first Tuesday, the second Tuesday, and the third Tuesday in December, that they have it. They're doing about 150 kids each night. So it's grown from 2 families to 450 to
Think about
500
that.
families. And, well, that's just something I'm so proud that it's still going. And, it involves the sheriff's office, fire, it involves EMS, EMTs. It involves the med flight.
I saw the helicopter there. Yeah, when
nurses,
I went the other night. Yeah.
Every once in a while, we'll have a soldier show up, and again, it involves. You look at the groups that's come on board. A lot of the churches come in. They're
Tons of support. Yep.
Volunteer to go around and really, if you've never seen that, Tuesday will be the last night. I'd invite you to come out and see it. The volunteers go around. They try to keep up. There's a budget. Try to keep it at $190 per kid.
Okay.
So, but the thing that always got me, you'd always have a kid that would say, "I want to buy something for Mama," or
thinking about somebody else first. Yep.
Well, and we extended the budget for those kids.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, how does it not?
A loved one, and they're not always looking for a toy. I mean, some of these folks, some of these kids are looking for a pair of blue jeans, but that's just something that what a great benefit it is for us.
I love this story. And Chief, what year was it? Do you recall that you guys, you and your team, when you said you were just kind of scratching together a few extra bucks? What year was that?
Well, it started in the first year I was chief, 2002, and then it just, it went from 2 families to 4 families to.
Isn't that something? I love that story.
It's just the community made it happen. Keith Glass didn't, but the folks in the community did. One time, and I won't say the folks' name, but I had these 2 business folks, and they were kind of competitive, about who was going to be the biggest donor. And anyway, one of them told me, "So whatever he does, I'll match it." I said, "All right." So I went and told him, I said, "Well, Bubba said he's going to do whatever you do." So he wrote a check for like $5,000, and I took it back, and the guy looked at it, he said, "Well, all right, here you go." So that about done it for the whole fundraiser.
Competition is good sometimes.
But
yeah.
That was at the time before we got into the the board of realtors and all working with it. So it's been a great blessing for the community, and it blesses the folks that do it too.
Oh, absolutely. I was there the other night, Chief. I just missed you, and you had the display out in front of the Walmart Monroe of all the different vehicles, the first responders, fire trucks, EMS, the law enforcement. The helicopter was there. And then, like you said, you go inside, and it is a madhouse of how many kids are there with their families that need that help, that need that little extra something at Christmas. And the volunteers that were there wrapping gifts. I saw Chastity and her team being good elves, wrapping presents. And then you had all the heroes. And it's just a cool thing because the kids get paired up with a hero, and they go take a shopping cart, and they go around Walmart. And I've heard that story many times over of the kids that, these are 7 and 8 year old kids that say, "Hey, I need to get a shirt or a jacket for my brother, or I need to do some shopping for my family." I mean, that would leave me in a wreck. If I'm that sheriff or if I'm that deputy.
Or a mattress. Some of our
That was a
babies have
story?
came in
Yeah,
and
mercy.
had purchased a mattress for himself. But really what humbles me is I've shot with Chief Glass. with our babies before, and I try to stay in my 190, our limit. And sometimes it's hard to stay in that limit, and you kind of teeter off, and you got your calculator, you're keeping track. I've witnessed Chief Glass. Once we go over that limit, he'll pull out his own personal credit card and just and every not to but there's a lot of that, and that's what makes our community just so amazing.
I agree.
And everybody just comes together. So
we have some absolutely wonderful people, and I know you're not here for accolades, Chief, but you think about what you started, what you and your team started, and how many families and how many children that had his touch over the past couple decades now.
Well, let me give the accolades to the community itself for supporting it and doing what they do every year and how they support it, and the great businesses that support it, and business folk. We couldn't be doing what they're doing without them. So we certainly appreciate their generosity and their love for the community.
I saw that banner, and you're right. There's dozens of different businesses that have stepped up to help out. Bill, is there anything else that we left off as it pertains to the VFW that we want to make our listeners aware of? Again, we talked about that you guys have a Facebook page. So if there's a veteran who wants to be part of this, is there a requirement? Because I'm not sure if Barrow County, Morgan County, Oconee County, if they have an association. So if somebody lives outside of our area, but they want to come to the Monroe VFW, can they do that, or is it geographically restricted?
Yeah, they can do it. We have a man down that lives in Newton County.
Okay.
Down there. He comes every first of every month to our meeting.
Yeah.
So you could be anywhere. You can join our organization. And if anybody, out there and listeners would like to join the Walton County Vet Association, they can give me a phone call, and I can lead them to that process. My telephone number is 678-602-0815. So don't hesitate to call me, and I'll be glad to help you join this organization, and you will not regret it.
And that's Bill Phillips. He's the commander of the VFW here in Monroe. They have a new building that they're wrapping up. It should be ready to be occupied, hopefully as early as February. Maybe it's March. It is a great it's going to be a wonderful place. It's off Snows Mill Road. What is the address? Do you have the actual street address?
I think 1712.
1712 Snows Mill Road.
First building when you cross the creek.
Jack's Creek, yeah.
If you're coming from
town.
From Monroe.
Town, it'd be
yeah.
First, yeah.
Yeah.
After you cross the creek, it'd be on your left, right? They've got a sign out there in front of the building, Future Home of VFW.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic landmark for us. Chastity, have you got something queued us up for? What's the big show tomorrow looking like?
So tomorrow, we've got our very own Les Lane is going to be in the house.
Is he hanging with me tomorrow?
Yes,
I
he is.
better have my act together to have Les in here.
It's going to be exciting. And then our studio guest tomorrow is Trey Young and Marc Engelbach.
Trey Long, Marc Engelbach. Those are two buddies of mine. We're continuing the conversations. These are small business success stories. We did two of them earlier in the week with Rob Scott, Michael Aslan.
Yes.
And so we're continuing that. These are just regular old dudes that have just great success stories. So I can't wait.
Fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Elvis is going to be in the house.
No way. Elvis in the building?
Elvis is in the house. So
now, wait a minute. Is this the Elvis or an impersonator?
Hey, it's the Elvis.
All right.
And he'll be talking about his show Saturday in Social Circle. And so we'll have Striplins on talking about their deals and steals, and our very own David Earl giving us your favorite
the
Franklin's.
fishing report.
Yep,
we make that Franklin's fishing report apply to everybody, even if you don't fish. Yeah, we have fun with him, and I can't wait to hear what lake he's on. Chastity, did we leave time for a song, or we got something that we can sneak in there before our break?
So so Larry Norman.
All right.
So I wish we had all been ready.
That's a great song, folks. Marc McMain Show until tomorrow at noon.